It's not gonna be in a way that you can just follow and do whatever I do along with me, but it's always good to have Revit open with you and look at what versions are and how I do things and try a few and ask questions as much as you have. But if you don't get anything, don't worry. We will go back to each of them and we'll start talking. Um, so um, what I think we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you almost everything that is out there you might need to use, and then we're gonna go back and say, okay, this week or this session we're gonna talk about how to create a geometry or how to draw walls in more detail and how to do more creative approaches in drawing things. We're going to talk about annotations, how to put sheets together, how to present stuff here, how to collaborate, and all that thing. Um, all right, so when you open Revit, it will look like that. So installation, everything is very simple. You just do it through your education Autodesk, and then you will install Revit 2017, and you'll see an interface like that. So if you don't have a project yet, you'll say new. If you have a project, you'll open it. So when you say new, it'll ask you what kind of work you gotta do. So you'll pick a template as everything else may ask you. So for this, I'm gonna say architectural template, and I'll say okay. So before we used to have different versions of Revit. One was Revit structural, one was Revit mechanical, Revit architecture, one was Revit just Revit, and you would go to different programs to do different things. But now they're all built into this one thing, and this is not a part of Revit. Okay. So this is what it looks. I've got a cheat sheet here that reminds me what I need to say, so that I don't miss any points. But you will basically have this. You have this main window that you work in, and as you go through your project, you will open more and more windows. And it's not like other programs that you switch different views. Actually, you open different windows, and you will find to close them and open them as long as you have one window left from your project. If you're closing your last window, it will ask you if you want to save it or not. So kind of different from other programs that you have used before, but that's the main window. Up here, we have the Revit button, where you can open, new, save, exit, that sort of thing. Up there, you have like a quick access thing. You don't usually use that, but something that is interesting for me is save, and then we have this sync model central. So that's when you collaborate with other people. You're sharing one file, maybe 2, 3, 10, 100 different people might be using one model and work on it. And as soon as you create sync, everybody else will see what you have done, and everybody's model will be updated. So that's up there. And then we have this ribbon and tab, where you can go through different categories of things that you can do in Revit. And then here in the ribbon, you can see different options and different functions you have. There in this side, you have properties, and you have your project browser. So in your properties, you will, as it says, you will see the properties of the object you're going to draw or you have selected. And then on top here, you can select different types and families. We're going to talk about what is family, what is type in Revit in a bit. And then down here, you have your project browser, where you can see different floor plans, sections, elevations, your sheets, your legends, your schedules, and everything you might have in your file. Down there, you have, it's called, I think, view control bar, where you can set your scale. You can see if you want to, what is the detail of accuracy you want to see. You want to see fine, curved, or medium. You can choose between viewing with wireframe or shaded or anything like that, and then you can turn on and off shadows and see hidden objects or hide something or that sort of thing. It's all down there. And then up here in this corner, you see a navigation kind of tool, where you can zoom in and zoom out and zoom fit, or have this wheel where you can use and quickly just do some zoom and pan. You also get this 3D cube when you're looking at 3D views on the same corner. So that's generally what it looks like. I think there are no questions there. So the idea of Revit is, I'm just going to quickly show you, I'm on level 1 here. I will click on the wall. I'll say, I don't know, a 200 millimeters wall. I will draw a bunch of walls, however you want to look like. I don't know. And then I will create, let's say, a bunch of doors and windows in it. And my laptop is not very fast, so bear with me if it was lagging. Anything you want to do, you can have bigger and shorter, smaller, anything. You can do interior, exteriors, um, and then you can define floors and ceilings, and you can um, just copy stuff to different levels. I'm going to copy this to my second level, and then I'm going to go see this in 3D, and it will look something like that. So I'll click at that. I've got a kind of something that looks like a building, and then I can easily see my box. Yeah. And you can cut sections. You can cut sections into it like that. You can see inside. You can turn on your shadow things, and you can have I don't know, elevations or anything you want very easily. So let's have a section here like that, and you'll see it like that. So that's the overall idea. Like quickly drawing the building where it understands what's door, what's wall, what's window, and then afterwards, when you want to edit something, you will say, hey, this door, like that door, this is like this detail. I want to change it to a different type of door. It will do that. Or if you have one type of door, you want to change one element like height, width, or something, it will be applied to all your doors in your model. So that's the overall idea. Let me just close this. So as I told you, I've got a bunch of windows here, as you see, like that. I'm going to close this, close that, and this is the last window. I close it to say, do you want to save it? Of course not. Of course. All right. So let's do it one more time. Revit architecture. So now you kind of understand what Revit is about. I mean, in this sense. So let's start here with architecture tab and this ribbon. So what we have here is wall, door, and window, which is pretty simple. So you just click something like, let's say, wall. Then you can select your type. What is this wall made of? Is you can be very specific and say exterior is brick, interior is whatever plaster, and then I've got this installation and that stub in it. It will understand that and put it for you there. And then, or you can be generic and say, hey, it's just a wall in 300 millimeters, and you put that. So just be something more specific so that we can talk about things here. And then you can just select that and easily draw a wall. Okay. You'll zoom in, you see almost nothing, just a wall. If you go down there and you click on Find, now you see all the details and hatches and everything. So that's my exterior, that's what's in the middle, and everything like that. It's built into the model. If I want to edit this type, I'm going to edit there and define different numbers and different details of the structure of this wall. I can edit the structure and say, hey, what is the exterior finish, interior finish, what is inside it or not, and then I can just do generic stuff like what is the height, what is the constraints on this wall. So let's just do this. I'm going to delete this again and switch this back into curse. I'm going to select wall and say generic, or no, let's keep it like brick for exterior, and then draw rectangle like that. And it's not perfect because it was not supposed to. So as soon as you have one object selected here, you'll see a bunch of different information showing for you. So you have points at the end of each object where you can move or you can change sizes of it. You will also have dimensions where you can see the actual dimensions, and you have where this dimension is defined from. So talking about the dimensions, you have this guy where you click and it will see, say, end, start, or center point will define my dimension. Same thing for here. Something that's interesting in Revit is that you cannot lie. Like it's all, everything is truthful. So if you say 14,000 millimeters, that's what it is. And if you change it to 10,000, it will change your model. So you cannot lie and explode your dimension and say, hey, this is that. However, there are ways around it, but it's not built to do that. So anyways, that was walls, and then you select it, you'll see different options. Also up here you have a modify tool, which we'll talk about later. But now you just know how to do a wall and then how to change its type and how to draw it. When you select this afterwards, you can also access the properties, or before drawing it, you can define what type of wall you can draw. So what are these properties? You guys will go through and understand this on your own, but what I'm going to show you is the base constraint is level 1. I want it to go to one level above, so the top constraint is level 2. Now what I have in a 3D view is a wall that goes from level 1 to level 2, like that. That's the wall I had selected. The other walls were starting at level 1 and going, I think, 8 meters high. So I can select this or select those, match property, and change them to that. Or I could select everything else together and do that. Back my plan view. Okay. Next thing, we're gonna talk about how to create floors. So here you can select on click floor, and then you can say, hey, I want to draw a rectangle around it, and that's gonna be my floor. So something I was looking at when I started working with Revit is that where are the snaps, where are the ortho, or how do I do 90 degrees or not to do that. There are ways to edit and modify those, but basically you don't need to touch them. They have it kind of in a smart snap system on it. So if you are close to 90 degrees or perpendicular to something or parallel to something, you will understand it and will help you do it. So you will figure out how to use it. So now I have a floor there, and I will see my model looks like that. That's the floor. And then the same way you can do walls and windows and everything. So I'm just gonna show you guys the same thing. So door, again, you will pick your type, what type of door I want, whatever, place it there, there. Same thing for window, you select it, put it there. And then if you're worried about, hey, is that really window? You just select it and say, okay, let's change some of the properties here. I can make it a bigger window, or I can go edit the top. So let's talk about what is a type, what is a family. Anybody who has worked with Revit or not knows what are types and families? Can give us an example. I'm sure you guys do, just don't want to. Okay. So let's say we have different types of doors. Like, let's say we have a door like this classic door which is glass, and that door which is wood and solid. So that's a family of door, and that's a family of door. Within that family, we have different types. Like this door could be a meter wide, or 2 meter wide, or 3 meter wide. So there are different types of glass doors for that family. And for that door, same thing. 1, 2, and 3 different meters. 3 meter wide are different types of that family of wooden door. So specific definitions of an object is the family, and within that family, different properties will change and define different types. Per type, you can change some of the properties and do not affect other types, like where it starts to happen, how, what is the seal height, what is the top constraint or base constraint. But if you change the width of a type, it will affect all the types in the model. I know it's confusing, but you will get used to it. One more thing that is helpful is that if you want to edit something, you will have your model, you will have your type selected. So let's say this is an M6 window, whatever that means. You will do edit type. You will change some properties over here, and then suddenly, let me just do it here so you can see. That is not very. Okay, let me okay, I'll do this. Okay, so I've got 3 windows that look kind of similar. select one of them, go edit type. I want you guys to see that, and then say the width, I want it to be 1 meter. Okay, all the windows change at the same time. But if I want just one of them to change, I'll go edit type, I'll do duplicate, give it a new name and say window, and then I'll define this is 2 meters, and now just this one change. So that's the idea of type. If I go and edit my family and say, hey, this is just one big window with this offset or that trim or whatever, and I change that property, it will change for all my windows. Like if I do that, it will be applied to all the windows of this family, whatever wide or width or height they have, which I'm not going to do. Right. The other thing is that when you have objects selected, you might see different arrows or letters around them, which all will do the function for you. So for example, that arrow here means that it will flip your object. So if you look at it in a spline mode, you will see if I click on that, it will change the structure from exterior to interior and vice versa, from interior to exterior. So that way you can define where is inside, where is outside. All right. So that's about this part, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to actually define a project. So usually the first thing we do is that we go to elevation and define the levels we have in our project. You will also see some stuff that you're not supposed to delete, like these guys are meaning that you have an elevation there. You might have section lines or anything else, so make sure you don't delete them. There are ways to hide them and lock them, so if you're not comfortable that you will not delete them, lock them or hide them. So let's say I go to my north elevation and I look at it like this. So I have two levels, level 1 and level 2, which comes default with the project. So it means that if I want to draw something in the plan, just let me draw in level 1 and level 2. I cannot draw anything on level 3 because there's no level 3. And I can define a level 3 by copying one of these or by creating a new level, which is architecture, tab, ribbon, down here level. The other thing is that you can define names for them. So I can call this, I don't know, my floor. Yeah. I can rename this your floor. And then you can say, what is the floor-to-floor height of your building? Let's say it's a residential and it's a 3 meters floor-to-floor, and you can define it there. If you want to do a new level, you'll just click there, say level, and you will draw it like that. You have a new floor. Now you see, as you drew this, here you have added level 3 on the corner in your project browser. So now I can select my floor, I can select level 3 for some reason. Okay, I can select your floor too. That is added. You can always bring this back to there, like that, and you can lock it or unlock it. So if you have that, when you have locked it, as it's obvious, everything will move together. Also there, you can just align it, let's say there. Like that. And then this reason, for some reason, this floor is taller, let's say, I don't know, 5 meters. And it's called something. Now I've got 3 different floors defined for me. You can also define a level for your foundation, for your basement, for your roof, and everything you might need in your project. So you will define those levels first. Then you will go to your floor plans and start drawing. So I'll go to my floor and draw some walls that we learned how to do them. Like that. It's big enough for me. I don't think it's very big. When you have an object selected, you will see the Modify tab up here for the wall. Uh, Here on the left part, you'll see some generic stuff, and there on the right, you'll see some more specific stuff to the object you have selected. You have copy, paste, array, joint, everything like that. You have mirror, offset, align, things like that. There you can do measure, you can group and ungroup. But here, which is specific to the wall, you can edit your profile, you can do wall openings, attach to the top, attach to the base, and that sort of thing, which I'll talk about a little bit very quickly, but they're kind of obvious what they are. Some of the tools that are interesting is that you can just click on this thing, which is like a fillet thing. It will just connect those two walls together. Or you can do split with a gap. You will click here. You will get a split with a kind of a little gap in between, while you can do a split without a gap, which is split with no gap. One more thing is that when you have something selected, this bar will show up here, which is talking about what you are drawing at this moment. And you can change properties there. So let's say I have my wall selected, and it shows me different properties I can play with, like where this thing is starting from, where this thing is ending, what is the height, where is the line that I'm drawing? Is it center? Is it exterior? Is it interior? Am I doing a chain drawing, so doing walls after walls, or am I doing a single wall and it's done after I drew one line? Do I offset anything from it, and things like that? So you'll see each tool you select will give you a bunch of options to work with. Okay, so let's see what we have. I'll go to View, 3D, and see there. So now I've got walls that are, I think, 8 meters high. To start from base constraint main floor and go to unlimited height. I select everything and say I want you to finish at your floor, which is in my floor, like that. So something that happens and is interesting is when you select and when you change something, it doesn't happen unless you move your mouse to your object. So as long as your mouse is over this property tab, nothing will change unless you press apply or move your mouse out. Okay, well, it's pretty simple and easy. Any questions so far? Is it too slow? Should I go a bit faster? No? Is it good? Is it too quick? Should I go a bit slower? Okay, so we talked about how to create a wall, how to edit them, and how to work with the properties or the types, how to edit types and things like that. Let's talk about how to edit the profile of a wall. So as I said, Revit understands some of the angles and some of the complexities, but it doesn't really work well with some other ones. I will show you this profile editing thing that is kind of interesting and easy. You can do it in 3D, or you can also do it in a elevation, which is that elevation. So if you double click on your elevation, you know, okay. Okay. So let's say I have that wall selected. I go edit profile. I'll see the profile of my wall. Now it lets me use that draw tool to draw things in it and change my wall. You can always do splits and cuts and delete things like that. I'm gonna do one more over here. I'm gonna delete that. Then I'm gonna say attach this to that and attach that to this. And say okay. Now I'll go to 3D and I see that in my wall. It could also be as simple as making one corner on an angle. Okay, and say apply, and it will work. We have some different types of communication techniques and messaging in Revit, um, as, such as this one that will happen in this corner of your window, and you'll see that a lot. A lot of them you can just ignore. Some of them are this yellowish kind of warnings or whatever that after a while you just start ignoring and not even seeing them. Um, but some of them have some buttons that you have to press if you want to continue working on. And they're pretty straightforward. So as soon as you unjoin two walls or two lines or something like that, will tell you, hey, you're doing that, or you're aware of what you're doing, or if you want to stop you from doing that. Or if you move a door or a window outside of a wall, it will tell you, hey, there's no wall to build a window in it, I will delete it. And say, okay, I will delete it for you. So I would say remove this constraint and let me do what I'm doing, and it will do. And I will define that's an angled wall, it will have it, and then that's my wall. So you can do that kind of thing, which is looks kind of dumb, but it will get more interesting than that. But that's just right. We'll delete this. I want to show you guys something else. Edit profile. So if you have anything selected, you will have this modify tool at the top that will give you some generic tools on the left and some specific tools on the right. For the wall, we have an edit profile where you can edit the profile of your wall. Something else is that when you draw a wall, you have different types, different ways of drawing the wall. I'm going to open this, you'll see. You can do an architectural structural wall. You can do a wall by space, which is a very useful tool for us when we're doing some more like crazy or architectural designery forms, as you can see here in this image. But that's our wall architecture is the typical simple one that we usually do. When you do that, it will ask you to draw a line that is the base of your wall. That line could be a curve, or it could be a line, could be a rectangle, hexagon, circle, and anything. I'm not sure if anybody ever uses any of these, like to draw a wall for things. But anyways, let's say I wanna do an arc, and I'll do like an arc. Somebody might think that's cool. Now, so you see, it's not that dumb. Like, it's not just boxes, but it's not that smart either. Let me just get back to where we were before doing all this profile editing. All right. So as any other software, make sure you have you go into the properties, the preferences, there's the number of undos you want. Revit has a lot of them in it, so you will probably not need it, but make sure you look at it. Also, do save as for your version. So save as every day or every 2 hours. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced crazy crashing problems with Revit. I never have, but I'm not sure if anybody has. If I had changed, or maybe I'm using desktops now, that's why it's easier to work in. Their laptops crashing more. But anyways, you don't need to worry about losing your file a lot, but just be conscious of versioning and saving and filing and things like that. Also, if you always have a folder for where your file is, say whatever building, and save your file in it. And then each time you do a save, Revit will keep, I think, up to 40 saves by default for you. So it will say, let's say it's Maria's project, will be Maria's project 0001, Maria's project 002. You'll get to 40 and then we'll override those. So by default, you'll get some versioning system in it, but it's good to have your own as well. So if you open your folder and saw there's tons of different files there, don't freak out, that's what Revit does. The other thing is you're not going to run into this problem now, but in future when you do collaborative work with other people, it will get more difficult to save as because you're not supposed to do them and other people are not following the same workflow. So you will work on one file. But for now, don't worry about that. Use it as you use any other software. Save as your version and you go ahead. Very evolved. Okay. So we talked about this, and then we talked about editing profile. But something that you cannot do is doing more complex curvature. So I clicked wall. Now I'm going to, um, okay, I'm going to draw, what is this? Not showing. Okay, I'm going to draw something that is a bit more curvy here. Let's say I want to do, okay, in 2017, it doesn't even let me do it. Okay, they have changed. All right, so what I was going to say is that if you draw more complex than an arc or something that can be defined as an arc in your plan profile, it doesn't let you draw that wall. The way around it is to do that as a mask, bring it from a different program or mask it here, which I will show you later today, and then define that surface as a wall, which you can do by doing this wall by face. So the simple way is, let's say you have, anyway, you have this form here that you can see that curvature thing, and it has a face, as you guys do in all the other programs. You click on it, it will give you a thickness, and you'll understand it as a wall. The problem there will be the joints. If you have like this crazy faceted facade and you want to define each of those as a wall, you will run into problems in like joining, and they're not navigating or matching. Again, a razor on them, but by default, you might run into some problems there. Anyway, let's move forward. Okay, so I have that in my first floor. I will just select anything that I have. I will copy them. I will say I want to copy that to the second floor. So when you copy a form, anything that is, you can select that in place. You can paste that in place. You can paste it somewhere else, or you can paste it on a different level. So you will copy that, open this paste tab, and then here you see your different options. You can paste it aligned to selected level, like there, and you'll say, okay, this is from my floor. I want it to have on your floor. Say okay. Now if I go to your floor, I'll see the same walls. But if I go to some floor, I will still see those, but they have not been drawn here. The reason they're there is because they're probably taller than what we were expecting. Anyway, okay. Any questions so far? No questions so far. Oh, you can put them back in, but sometimes it happens that people randomly do stuff and they miss it and don't remember when that happened or how that happened. And sometimes the program does it to you, so it's good to know what happens so that you can solve it. So if you are aware of things that you're deleting or things that you're trying not to delete, it would be easier for you to troubleshoot afterwards. Oh yeah, everything is pretty simple here. Like it might look, there's lots of numbers and windows that are too technical, but it's not really like that. It's just the interface that is designed poorly. Okay. All right. I will go back to that. What I'm gonna do here is, so we talked about doors. Let's have a door here, and let's say, okay, so now you guys know how to select your types, how to edit the types, how to draw an interior wall. Please stop me if you don't know what I'm talking about. And let's say that's the interior of my plan. This is only on my floor, and then I've got a bunch of windows here that I can select from. Um, I will go with that. That's too small for me. I will edit type. I will duplicate it. I'll call it my window type. I will give it 3 meters width, and height is okay. That's that. Um, with holding control, you can copy your stuff. So holding control and dragging, so copy like that. You will have some interior doors. So it's like a game, like a good game. Like you will just select door and put it there. It's not too technical, but it will get there, I think. Now I have the door that I made, the window that window, I'll put it there, there, beautiful, there. Views, preview. Okay. It's kind of messy because it's not very clear for it where to start, where to end, uh, and how tall the wall should be, and that's what I get. And then I can fix them easily, but um, oh yeah, definitely. When you select your wall, the more smart way is to say this is my base constraint, that is my top constraint, and that is my height, or those are my types. I select your type and then just go ahead and draw it. I change the top to your floor and it goes down there. I will select those walls there, and that'll be helpful. So let's say that's the building. Um, you can also edit everything in 3D view. Something that is interesting in Revit is that you can use your arrow keys to move stuff around. Like as you can see, I'm just pushing left and right, up and down. And if you hold shift, you can do 10 times more than what it does without holding shift. And then if you zoom in and zoom out, it will get more accurate in moving. So if you're far back and you move, it will be a bigger move than if you're closer. So those are the default settings. If you are in an elevation, right here, you can also say select a window and you want to align it with the top line of that. You'll just select it and align it. You can align that with your wall. That's the align tool over here. So there's tons of things that you can do very easily. So we talked about doors, we talked about walls, windows, we talked about levels, how to define those. We talked about so we didn't talk about sections and elevations. I'm going to show you guys that, and then we're going to take a 5-minute break and jump back at it. So if you go to view, you will see where you can define your sections or elevations. Things I said be cautious about deleting. So those guys are basically just elevations. I want to draw a section here that is going at an angle like that. As you saw when you select this, it will give you this box. So anything inside this box is what I see. I can flip it by clicking on those arrows. Even I can say, hey, I don't want to see back there, cut it, or I don't want to see this corner. This will cut it for you. And then you can double click on this form, or you can go here in the project browser and open your section. So we'll just double click here. It will show me my section. Okay, that was the first portion, how to use Revit. We'll take a 5-minute break. If you want to leave the room or anything.